Aloha and welcome. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about importing specific names from a module. And what we mean by that is, well, let me explain what we've been doing up till now. Up until now, when we want to include modules, we simply do an import. We say import sys, and import sys will bring in the entire namespace of everything inside sys. So we have all those functions defined, all those variables defined. Sometimes though, we're not looking for everything. We don't need everything. We don't need to, pull all that into memory. We can do with just one or two things. Let's say, as in the last lesson, we were looking at the sys variable, the sys path variable. So hold on, let me bring up code here and let's take a look in here. So up until now, we've been doing something like import sys, then we come down here and we do a print of sys dot path. And when we run it, it gives us the path here. That's all great, but that's a lot of overhead to take in. We can use a different construct and be a little bit more surgical about what we're doing here. We can do this thing where we say from sys import path. And this is really neat. All of a sudden, you notice that sys.path turns white. It's scared. It says, oh no, I don't have any meaning now. Well, what's happened is when we do something like this and we say from sys import path, what we're going to be doing is we're importing path from sys, but we're going to have path now in the global scope. So now that it's in the global scope, we don't need to access it through sys.path. We can drop the sys dot part here and just use path. So when we do run the program, it gives us the same thing that we had before because we've brought it up to the global scope here. So there's good things about doing that. Be careful about conflicts. Let's say if we had something defined, let's say we had path defined as blah, 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 blah. And then from sys, we import path and we print path. What happens here? Let's take a look. Boom, we've overwritten path here. So our path no longer exists because what we've done is we've done a from sys import path. Remember though, in general, we like to put the imports at the top of our document. So normally you'd see the path being redefined under that and it would, it would overwrite. So we wouldn't really get path from sys here. But just be aware that what we're doing here is we're surgically taking out just what we need from sys. We're taking out path, bring that into the global scope, and it's being defined in the global scope, and then we can access it without our dot notation that we saw before, like sys.path. So this is very useful. There's one other thing that we can do that is, let's just say it's a little bit on the dangerous side. So let's take my my module that I created earlier called do nothing. So do nothing has a definition for a function called nothing, and it also has a variable here called no number. So inside here, we're going to do, let's go ahead and take out this right here. Let's take all of this out, and we'll do an import of do nothing. So we import do nothing. That's great. We hit play and it does nothing, exactly what we thought it would do. So we can import everything from there. So as before, we did something surgically, I like to call it surgically, from do nothing, we can import, let's say no number, and then we can print out no number. And let's take a look at that. And we get 10 because it's set to 10. But notice if we went over here and we tried to do something like print, oh wait, hold on. Let me go ahead and erase that because that really kind of cheated there. So if we do this, we get 10 because we've imported that. But notice now, because we surgically imported that, we're not going to get the do nothing with the nothing function. Notice how this isn't showing up as anything. So it's saying, nah, I've never heard of that guy. So when we try to run it, it's not getting it. It's saying do nothing is not defined. We go over to do nothing and, do nothing is not defined. Hold on, do nothing dot nothing. nothing's defined here, but because we were only importing our variable definition here and not the whole thing, it doesn't give us that. Well, we can go back to importing everything by saying from nothing or from do nothing, import asterisk. And we put the star there, the asterisk, it's going to pull in everything. So what you're going to find now is that what happens? We get do nothing. Hold on. Oh, here it is. I don't need the dot notation anymore. So if I was to access simply nothing up here, you'll see that it is recognized. So when I hit this, it's going to have 10, then it's going to say, I will not display anything. And it prints none because I'm calling on nothing. Nothing itself actually has a print statement, but the return value of this is none, if you remember from functions. So that's why it's printing out both of those things. I really should just call nothing right there, and that would give me simply the number 10 and then that sentence like that. So so what we've done there is we've used the star to import everything into the global scope. This, as you're probably thinking in your head, not a great idea to do in general. If you're in an interpreter and you're just trying out some functionality, sure, that's fine. You can use this import star to just bring it all up there and use it. But if you're making code that you want people to be able to look at and understand it and not get confused about the dependencies and what is defined where, don't import like this into your global scope willy-nilly. This is going to be problematic because what it's going to do is it's going to hoist everything up into your global scope here, and it's going to be you can have conflicts with just like we showed you earlier. If you were to have something like path defined, and then you import everything from that module, not knowing that path was defined in there as well, you've just hoisted up to the global global level. So you're going to be overriding what you already have defined there. So be careful of that. Don't clutter up your namespace like that. Yeah, just keep that in mind. So you can import star, but use this sparingly. Be surgical when you're doing your imports. Go in there, know exactly what you need to pull out of there. If you're using functionality, especially from a large module, grab the things that you're going to use specifically, and say from module name import definition. That's usually the easiest way to do that. It's the cleanest way to do it. So yeah, that's the lesson here. If you have any questions about this, feel free to send me an email, reach out. I'm always happy to set up a Zoom meeting if you need to do that to get a better understanding of things. But anyways, if you have no questions, I will see you in the next lesson. Take care.